Carl Froch is a fucking hater. I never said nothing to the guy before, but, you know, anybody that watches boxing, Carl Froch is a fucking... I don't really care for Carl Froch. He can suck my dick, too. He can say whatever he wants. I tell him to his face. I don't give a shit. Carl Froch is a fucking hater. You know, anytime somebody talks about AJ, I sold the Wembley out 76,000. He's a cornball. For me, he's a cornball in my book. Carl Froch is corny. Is AJ washed up? Yeah, I don't think he has too many good days ahead of him. Maybe two more decent fights. You can't tell a fighter when he's really cooked or not. You know what I mean? The fighter got to say, this is it for me. You know what I mean? Or people around him can say that. It's got to be his decision. His best days are behind him? Yes, I believe so. Does he still have a couple more in the tank? I think he still does. If he wants an easy win or a tune-up, then he should just go and do that. Carl Froch is a fucking hater.
Carl Froch is a effing hater. By Jerrell Miller in the defense of Anthony Joshua. Wow. I've heard it all now. I would think, or should I say, I would have never thought in a million years that Jerrell Miller would be defending AJ over Carl Froch. See, Carl Froch and AJ, they got their own little thing going because they once knew each other, they worked, they trained with each other, same gym, same trainer, same stuff like that. And then the hater age started once AJ surpassed Carl Froch. We all know that. But for Jerrell Miller to come in defense of Anthony Joshua, like, hey, who is he to say AJ's finished? And it's up to the fighter to say that, you know. That's saying a lot about Jerrell Miller, and I never thought that I would actually hear and see the day that Jerrell Miller would take up for AJ over Carl Froch. He said Carl Froch is corny, which in his own Brooklynite way, it does make sense on what he's saying. He's like, well, anybody's talking about selling out Wembley, that's corny. Because it clearly shows that, Carl, you wouldn't have ever had a problem with AJ if AJ wouldn't have outsold you. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's the case. And then that's what Jarrell's saying. Like, that's corny on how you're coming at AJ just because he did better than you in the numbers category. And you thought that you were going to keep that legacy and that number, that record-breaking number for a long time. And then here comes AJ, just steamrolled right over that shit, taking on Klitschko, beating Klitschko, making the UK and the all Brits proud that day. Those type of things, you know. So, you know, it's a good, refreshing thing to say because, you know, is the enemy of my enemy my friend or my enemy type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one of those deals where it's like, okay, I don't care for Carl Froch. I can talk shit about AJ, but hey, talk shit about AJ that actually makes sense. You know, say some tasteful stuff that you dislike about AJ. Not the fact that he outdid you in the number category, therefore you feel that he's finished. And I do, to be fair, thought that what Carl Froch did was actually, you know, a bit much. You know what I mean? I think that was a below the belt. And, you know, it was a bit harsh, you know, oh, he's finished, he's done, and is this. And I'm like, okay, well, like I told you guys, once Carl Froch made that statement, you know, I felt it was harsh. I felt it was a different type of energy behind the shit. You know what I mean? I thought that he was like saying that like he was almost glad that or wished that it was over for AJ, just based on his personal feelings about AJ. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, I take that with a grain of salt. But no, that is definitely something that's surprising that Jerrell Miller is taking up for AJ, you know, over Carl Froch. It's like, look, Carl, I think you're corny. You know, he's a fucking you know, he's a dickhead or whatever. But no, I've seen it all, people. This is the sport that I love, that I hate so much. For a reason. You guys tell me what you think of Jerrell Miller taken up for AJ because of the words that Carl Froch said about Anthony Joshua. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.